right, recording is on. Okay, cool. All right, well, welcome to the May Mock and Tell, everybody. Thank you for those that are joining us and for those that are watching this online on YouTube. I hope you enjoy the show. We're going to run through our usual cadence here and give everybody a chance to talk about what they want to show and anything that they're working on or that family members are working on, and then we can chit chat for a little bit, and we can cut everybody loose and go enjoy this beautiful Sunday. So no big news from the administration side. Nothing really going on that anybody needs to be tracking on. We may have, I mentioned this I think at the previous meeting, we may have an opportunity to do something in July with the Wadsworth. It'll be like one of their second Saturday events where we would go and put on the event. I think it's going to be outside unless we can do it inside. And we just kind of work with our community. It's one of our give back to the community type things, work with kids in Hartford. And so I'm having a meeting with the Wadsworth on Tuesday, I want to say, to talk about the details. So I'll keep everybody up on that, let you know what's going on in Discord. So stay tuned. Other than that, we got approved for our LUG support from LEGO for the second half of the year. So hopefully once we can get back to doing in-person meetings, when we participate in these types of events, when we do Mock and Tell, there's an incentive for that, right? When you participate in challenges and events, you get compensated with brick and sets and parts and things. So basically we should hope to have that sorted out in June. Whether or not that happens, how it happens, what happens and whatnot, we'll have to wait till then to see, but we did get approved. So more to come on that. All right, Ivan, no other business, right?
No, I got nothing.
Cool. All right, I think that's it. No, nothing else from the board on my side. All right, cool. Well, I'll open it up. Who would like to go first and share their cool mocks and tell us about it?
I can show mine. It'll be short. There's not too many.
Go for it, Dave.
Let me flip my camera, see if this works. So these are some old Mindstorms. I purchased a bunch of this stuff for a class I was going to teach for high school students, but the class fell through, but I kept all the parts. So, but these are just some of the things for some of the curriculum. It was a programming curriculum. So this guy here was a card reader. So it turns out if you change the firmware on these, you can speed up the processing a bit, so you can actually read a swipe card. So we had these little swipe cards we created with kind of like a barcode. You slide it through here and you can actually read the code off. And this was the starting one to kind of get this assembly line working. There's going to be a robotic assembly line, basically. These are the basic ones for moving balls around. This one's actually kind of a standard one, which they recommend building. This is a crane arm, then these two would work together to pick off of an assembly line, drop it into a tray. This guy would have to pick it up and then move it over. Let's see, then this was a tic-tac-toe robot I had built. It actually worked. I wish I could show you, but it's got a sensor here. This tray moves forward and back, and then the arm pivots side to side, so it can sense which ball is there and then make its move. And then this motor here, the rubber band's broken, and they just all fell off the table. But then it will feed one in, which falls down into a location once it's playing against you. And then your pieces sit here. So that was kind of fun to build. But basically just flashed all these firmwares to put a C language compiler on it, and all standard stuff you can get off the internet, but it was kind of fun. Then I started working. This is a hexapod robot, which I'm not done with. I just started it when all these things started to fail. But this has 12 motors, 2 per arm. It's a kind of a crossbar linkage robotic arm, and there's 6 of them. So this thing would basically be about this high and walk. But all my controllers are dead, so I really can't finish that project. But that's kind of what I was working on. I got a bunch of boxes of these things back home. But this is my favorite one. This was fun to play. The kids used to always like that.
Tic-tac-toe one?
Yep.
Yeah. it would be cool if we could get some of the modern controllers. They're not quite as they're not as programmable as the NXTs or the EV3s or even EV4s, but like the WeDo module and the Boost module, it's intuitive enough where you can low code drag modules in the mobile app and actually kind of represent some of what you would code, right?
Mm.
And I've worked with a couple of them. They're pretty good. They're not 100%, but it's come a long way. So I think it would be really cool for us to get a bunch of those. We also got those tiny little modules that I got, those Bluetooth modules, which we did some testing with those from a third-party vendor, and they're really cool, super small form factor. So if anybody ever wants to mess around with those, just let me know. And I've got a bunch of them that company sent us to test out. Their app is kind of meh, but the hardware is really cool. So.
Yeah. Actually, I've got then the other project I've been working on for the latest one. This is my side project. It not much to see yet because most of it's in here, but it's a microcontroller, low energy Bluetooth system. It'll do 256 channels. So I've been slowly reverse engineering the current WeDo stuff, and it looks pretty flexible. So far, I've been able to kind of figure out what I can control all the motors. I control all the sensors. The color sensor is a bit tough. I haven't figured out that standard yet, but eventually I want to get this thing working. That's kind of my next step up from all this. Then I'll be able to control all my trains and any of the modern stuff through low energy Bluetooth.
Nice.
So I'll keep you. That's a long-term project. I'm a couple of years away, so I'll keep you up to date.
That's okay. You make little incremental progress, right?
Yep.
That's cool. Thanks, Dave. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Who else would like to share?
I posted mine in the MOC Tell forum.
You posted them already, Topher?
Yeah, a photo. My son built something, so
cute.
Yeah, the pride on his face is what we're making there. He's pretty happy with what he makes.
Cool. That's nice. Ivan, you said you're good?
Yeah, I'm good. I built something, but I didn't like it, so I destroyed it.
Man after my own heart. How many times do I do that, right? Excuse me. Teo, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, I can share what I made. I finished it last night. I'm pretty happy with it. I had mentioned it, I think, the last MOC Tell. I'm a big space nut, in case you couldn't tell. But the new space shuttle, is it 10-281 or 83 or whatever it is, the new Discovery shuttle. Brian and I got one. He built his. I haven't built mine yet, but really love it. It's a great set. If you haven't watched the set review, definitely do. It's really cool, but it doesn't come with boosters or a fuel tank, right? For obvious reasons. It's a lot of parts, be massively expensive. So I set myself out to create scaled boosters and fuel tank. I ended up spending a fortune on Bricklink, but I did it. And the first part of that project was to determine the ratio of the shuttle Lego set to the actual STS-31 shuttle, right? And it was about 65, 66 to 70th, 1 to 70th scale, right? So the boosters and the fuel tank I built to the same scale. They're offset so that the boosters are lower than the fuel tank, but they're roughly the same height. It's about 28 inches. The individual booster rockets are about 2¼ to 2½ inches round, and the fuel tank is about 7 inches round. And I posted in one of the channels, I think it was in the MOC Tell channel, or the Pics and Vids channel, how I built the circle. So it's very heavy. It's about 15 pounds because it's built with a Technic frame and then individual concentric kind of circles stacked. So if I think I showed these last time, but if you haven't seen the boosters, I gotta go back. These are the boosters. Try and keep them in frame. You can see it. And so there's two of these, right? And what I ended up doing was using the ball socket joint to make the connection to the tank. And when I do clip both boosters into the fuel tank, the boosters and the two pin connections that hold it will actually support the weight of the tank. This is going to be part of a larger MOC, which will involve the actual shuttle set, the two boosters, and the fuel tank. And I'm going to use LEDs to illuminate translucent brick coming out of the bottom of the rockets so that it looks like it's taking off. And that'll support the weight of the whole thing. But this is the fuel tank.
Oh, my sweet mother McCree.
It's
That's fucking awesome.
It's pretty huge. I put some feet on the bottom just so I could stand it up. But that's the base there. Now there's on the actual tank, there's a section, I'm gonna hold it like this. There's a section about this big that looks like those 1x2 grates, and they do come in this color, but in order to keep the radius, will say the same, I decided not to use it because I was going to have to change the design in order to make those striations. And also it would have looked a little bit wonky because those grates, I've seen other people do this, they put them vertically, but on the actual tank, the lines themselves are horizontal, so it would have looked wrong anyway. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to keep it uniform and just keep it one form factor. And it's very heavy, very solid. I can show you that the boosters, bye. Will clip in, we'll just knock the end off. But they'll clip in that way, and then when both are on either side, they'll support the weight of the whole thing, like this.
Cool.
So,
Wow.
yeah, it's wow, I really busted that. It's probably end to end, I'd say there's probably somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 parts in there, between the boosters and the main fuel tank. It's a lot of Technic frame, and each one of the circles, if you look at the diagram or the image where I posted, it's each section, each cross section, like if you had cut it into pieces, slices, is probably 40 parts itself, and there's dozens of those. So not to mention the hundreds, I think there's like 350 Technic pins holding all the frame together, and then the Technic beams, as well as Technic bricks to build the frame out. So I did take pictures of the whole process, and what I'll end up doing is once I get it to 100%, and get my shuttle built, and then get the rest of the MOC put together, I'll post the pictures so that everybody can see what the process looks like and like what the inside looks like. I was talking about it yesterday. Like I said, I went to the Lego store yesterday, and I was talking with one of our members, Steve Dorner, and I sent him some pictures, and he's like, "Wow, I can't believe how many parts are in this thing." So, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of figuring out the strategy, right? It wasn't very straightforward. It wasn't nearly as straightforward as I thought it was going to be. But it was cool to build. You know me, I love doing round stuff. I love making big stuff. And this is definitely going to be a centerpiece on whatever our next event is. You know, I want to really, really do the wiring, light it up with real bright LEDs and everything, and you know, go all out with this. So, but it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to show y'all in person once that's a thing again.
Did you say how long it took, or did I miss that?
It's probably, I probably put about 50 hours into it.
Oh, damn.
Between, you know, and a lot of it was okay, how many different iterations of this am I going to make before I'm happy with it, right? Because I had to take a diagram of the boosters and then figure out, okay, well, this line is thicker than this line, so I'm going to have to scale it so that one thin line is one plate, two thin lines is two plate, and then sections where I can't use the actual cylinder panels, right? That's 4 cylinder panels. I'll have to use the round brick, right? And so each one of these probably has about, I don't know, 400 or 500 parts in them, holding them all together. You can see the plating inside, and it just took a lot of time doing the mathematics of it, really, figuring out what the size would be and how long these would be. These are a little, they're circumference wise, they're not perfect. They should be about a 1/4 inch bigger, but that's not achievable when, you know, these are the parts that are available in Lego. You know, if they made these in a bigger radius, then I could do it, but they don't. So we work with what we've got, right? But it was a lot of just figuring out, okay, well, if the actual booster rocket is so many 1,000 feet long or whatever it is, this is going to be 27 inches to scale. And then how would I connect them and whatnot? But it was a lot of fun. Had a blast. It does keep falling apart because, you know, I'm not going to craggle my stuff. I'll cut brick, but I won't craggle. So yeah. And then I know I showed you the bottom of it. Figuring out how to do the base was a challenge. How to plate build that so it looks round the way the tank actually looks, without, you know, having to use magic and a wing and a prayer to make it work. But I did figure it out. I think the footprint is pretty good, and inside the base of it is one of those Technic frames, those 4-sided Technic frames. So the regular Technic beams are built facing up. I was able to flip that one upside down so that I could mount that base plate, or that inside plate, right to it, and give it a really firm, strong center to flip to. So, but a lot of fun. Had a great time. Can't wait to do the rest of it and get it up in the air, get it illuminated, wired up, and just we're gonna need a lot of white brick for smoke, lots of white brick. But you know, I know I wasn't the first to do this, but I don't think anybody else has built at this scale that I've seen. You know, I saw a post on Reddit of somebody had kind of a smaller version of this, not using the set, but I haven't seen anybody build to scale. So I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. And once it's all done, I'll start posting pictures on the internets. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, let me know.
Are you thinking of hanging the shuttle off the side, or is it all going to be supported from the bottom, like secretly through the clouds or through the plume or whatever it is?
Yeah, I was originally going to hang the shuttle from the tank, and then when I got the tank done, I realized how heavy. Like, the tank is probably somewhere between 15 and 20 pounds itself, and right now the boosters are what support the weight of the tank. So to add the shuttle on top of that, it'd be too much. They wouldn't support it. So what I'm going to probably end up doing is using the clear or the translucent 2x1x5 panels or wall sections to give the fuel tank support kind of the way I put the legs on it.
Yeah.
You know, just build it up so that it's not completely beholden to gravity. And then the shuttle, I'll probably do something similar, or like you said, build it, you know, build into the smoke coming out around it.
Yeah.
To give it the support that it needs. Because I could have taken sections of the rounded portions of the tank out to expose the Technic frame on the inside, and then run Technic axles and whatnot through to make the actual connections, or even pins, you know, doubled up and done pins. But it would have taken away from the aesthetic of the tank itself. So I wanted to really minimize the impact that way. And I found that doing these ball joint connectors was a pretty consistent way to have a really solid connection, but not expose so much of the internal components of the build. Because even where I put those, you can see that, you know, I had to use different slopes, and I just didn't want the profile to change any more than it already has. So keeping it consistent was pretty important. And there's a lot of sideways building, a lot of snoot and snot bricks in there. And I was having a really hard time figuring out, how do I make, trying to get everything in frame, how do I make this distance Lego accurate, right? Because on here, it can be only a couple places that I can put these. But on there, I had to find a point where I could move the actual curved tile sections so that it would be, you know, when I did it at first, it was like half a plate off, and I had to keep messing with the distances until I could get it so that these lined up perfectly. Because as you can see, it wants to come apart, right? So when I did it at first, it was like a slight variation, and this just popped off right away. As soon as I would connect it in, they would stay connected to the tank, but they would separate. And really the only way that I can solve for that is to craggle these, which I'm not going to do. So all in all, I would say that I took a $200 Lego space shuttle set and turned it into an $800 Lego space shuttle set with all the extra parts and shipping. And, you know, dark orange is not an easy color to come by, certainly not in this particular quantity and variation, but it was worth it. Came out really well.
Wonderful.
I love it.
Yeah. Congratulations. It looks awesome.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we
It's
can
really
like have it in person and like
Yeah.
put it in a display and build a city around a launch pad or something.
I'm still looking forward to seeing the 8-wide modulars that we built last year. Everyone built.
Well,
Line those up.
yeah. Unfortunately, from what I understand, a lot of people took theirs apart.
Oh,
Mine is still together. Matt's is still together. I think he's got 2 of them. And I think maybe a couple other people. I think people left them here at the house for the ones that were working on them here. But I think Terry still has hers. And I'm trying to think who else might have them. Ivan, you don't still have yours, do you? You took yours apart, your 8-wide?
Yeah, mine is in pieces, and so is Jesse's.
Well, I was actually talking with Matt Healy about it, who is currently upstairs here somewhere with my dog, and we were talking about, you know, maybe we do it again. Maybe we do the challenge again and give
that'd be cool. I think I
other
missed
people
that
a
one.
chance to do it.
I
It was really fun.
I think you guys did that right when I joined.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, and you know, it's a really good way to take a small form factor MOC or build and pack a lot of detail into it, right? It's not, you know, you don't have to make these gigantic things that take weeks to get all the parts and everything like that. Take something small that everybody can feasibly work on with the parts they have, and pack a lot of detail into them, and then put them all together. And I think we used to do, when we were still doing in-person meetings, we used to do quarterly build challenges. And and we did monthly build challenges too. But the quarterly, it was like, here's the parameters. Everybody go do whatever you want within the parameters, and then we would get together and look at them, and people would vote on which one they like the best, and blah blah blah. This formula for let's all build something, get it together, and not compare them, but we could use those 8 wides for a show. We could take that whole display to an event and say, hey, we built this as a lug, and everybody's creativity is packed into here. And I think that would be kind of, still I want to give everybody something for the work that they put in, right? If you know the rules, you do the thing, you get the brick. But I think it would be cooler to represent it as like a thing we did together than just something, hey, I'm competing with my fellow people. But, so yeah, I think we'll do that one again. People really seem to enjoy it, including me. I had a blast. So maybe we'll put that on the agenda, Ivan, for talk over with the board and get everybody on board with
Will do.
getting that scheduled. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all I got. If anybody has anything else, obviously. Silence is concurrence.
Well, you were frozen there for a while.
Oh, good. Super. Oh, thanks, teams. What was the last thing you heard, Ivan?
Welcome to the meeting.
Welcome to the meeting. Oh boy, that's a lot of words for me to backtrack over.
No, you were just saying we're just about done.
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up there. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming. Those that came, for those that are watching this after the fact, I hope you enjoyed the meeting. And we're gonna get back to normal. We are. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it looks like yet. We have to figure that out. But have hope that soon we'll be able to see each other in person and do more creative builds and creative activities with one another and really get the group back together. So for those that are not really big on doing video calls, I totally get it. I'd rather see you all in person, but thanks for hanging in for as long as you have been, and we're going to do some great stuff, so stay tuned. Cool. All right, everybody. Well, y'all be well. Let us know if you need anything.
Yep.
Take care of yourself. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself, and play well.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Okay.
Nice to see you guys.
It's
All right, y'all. Be well.
Bye, guys.